Everyone, and welcome to the first of this week's topic videos. So in this video I'm going to read a story to you and that we will be sharing in class this week, and I'll be also talking to you about some of the artwork that we are going to be doing in class as well. So the book that I'm going to read you this week is The Dinosaur That Pooped a Planet. So we're going to read this and then I will talk you through some ideas that you might want to have about this week. Danny and Dinosaur liked to have fun. Some days they had lots, some days they had none. One day they were bored, they had no games to play. Danny said, Dinosaur, what shall we do today? We could mow the lawn, we could tidy the place, we could do our chores, or we could go into space. But you mustn't forget to have lunch, said their mummy. You cannot have fun without food for your tummy. So they packed a packed lunch for the Science Museum, where rockets were kept if you wanted to see them. There were hundreds of rockets and spaceship surprises, tall ones and small ones, of all shapes and sizes, and one that was ready to launch with a door big enough for a boy and his pet dinosaur. They ignored all the warnings. They couldn't care less. They pressed all the things they shouldn't have pressed. T minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition! They started their intergalactic space mission. They flew higher than houses and buildings and cranes, much higher than birds, even higher than planes. We're in space, Danny yelled as they floated around, but the dinosaur's tum made a rumbling sound. Is it time to have lunch? Danny looked at his watch. Then he looked all around for the dino's lunchbox. Danny started to worry, then started to panic. They'd left their packed lunches back home on their planet. So with no food on board, not the smallest of crumbs, a disastrous dinosaur feast had begun. It gobbled up gadgets and gizmos galore. Nothing was safe from the space dinosaur. Robots and ray guns and blinking red blinkers, eating things thought up by NASA's great thinkers. The hyperdrive gamma reactor machine was swallowed along with the space tractor beam. It chewed and it chomped on the spaceship controls. The rocket was dotted with dino tooth holes. Inside it was bare. The spaceship was empty. Outside there were more things to eat. There was plenty. It broke down the door with a cool ninja chop. Out in space, dinosaurs are much harder to stop. It chomped down on the moon like a big chunk of cheese, then shoved even more in its mouth with a squeeze. It munched on the Martians from Mars and their cats. Their cats are like ours, but their cats wear cool hats. Satellites, Saturn, and 6 supernovas, shape-shifting saucers, and 7 space rovers. It guzzled 5 gallons of fuel from the tank, and Danny's jaw dropped as it watched what it drank, with a crunch and a crack and a nom 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 nom. In one dino gulp, their rocket was gone. Now nothing was left. All Danny could see was a fat dinosaur where the rocket should be. And so they were stranded with no way back home. Just Danny and Dino in space, all alone. Now Danny was crying. He cried and he cried. He cried and his tears filled his spacesuit inside. Unless they were going to stay forever, the dinosaur needed to do something clever. With a feeling of guilt deep down in its gut, its brain brewed a plan involving its butt. It knew there was only one thing it could do to get them back home. It needed to poo! Like a powered rocket, the dinosaur flew. Danny hopped on its back and watched as it pooed. It pooed out the robots and grey guns and blinkers. The things NASA's thinkers thought up were now stinkers. It pooped out the moon. It pooped out the stars. It pooped out space rovers and When Danny looked back, he could see a poop trail from far out in space to the dinosaur's tail. They headed for Earth and they started to orbit. It pooped out the clouds, but the clouds just absorbed it. They flew past the buildings and streets of their town, leaving the houses all smelly and brown, and finally landed back down on the ground. Hooray! Danny cried. We are home, safe and sound. They looked up to the sky, and the things that were pooed had formed a poop planet right next to the moon. So Danny promised to listen to Mummy, because fun is not fun without food for your tummy. And just when you thought all the pooping was done, a Mars cat popped out of the dinosaur's bum. I hope you enjoyed that one. That's a bit of a silly one, but hopefully you enjoyed it. So this week, there are two art activities that we're going to have a go in class that you might like to have a go at home. So the first is going to take inspiration from some of you at home because you've been doing this at home and I thought it was a great idea. We are going to try and create an earth using a balloon and some papier-mâché and some paint. So that's what we're going to try and do. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to try and create some marbled planets using some ingredients. So ingredients I've got here some black and white card, some paint. It suggests acrylic, but I'm sure others would work. Some shaving cream, some containers, some toothpicks, but anything to mix it around will do. Some sort of sponge and glitter, which is optional. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post the link to the website that we're using for our instructions underneath this video, just so that you have that to refer to. And on that website there's also some really gorgeous other kind of space crafts that you might want to have a little go at this week. I know some of you have already been doing some awesome crafts. You're really inspiring me back in the classroom. So that is the end of our first topic video. As always, if you have anything you want to ask or anything you want to know, just let me know. Remember, don't feel any pressure to have a go at any of these activities, but if you do have a go and you do want to share it with me, then you can do so via Class Dojo. So I hope you've enjoyed this video and I will see you all very soon. Bye!